Welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Mikel Merno says goodbye to Realsociedad as Arsenal intensify efforts to sign him this afternoon. Now, an initial bid was rejected, and that is when Arsenal decided enough is enough. We are going to intensify our efforts to sign the player, and it is now very, very close. We are also going to be talking about Brian Taylor's report that Arsenal are looking at a wide attacker and a striker as well. However, there is a caveat, and the caveat is Arsenal are not looking to make their squad bigger. Arsenal are looking to replace each member of their squad. So Emile Smith-Rowe was seen as as a player who would leave, and then Ricardo Calafiori comes in. Mikel Merno has to come in, and another player has to go. The same with Ramsdale, and the same with a striker. There's a big problem there, but we are going to talk about it. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well. Lots of stuff going on the internet. That's Arsenal still interested in Bruno Guimaraes. I don't see that we have enough time. I don't see that there is time for us to sign Guimaraes this summer. Rabiot as well. There are talks that Arsenal could actually, add Rabiot to the squad. We'll talk about all of that. But after Arsenal getting their first bid rejected, David Ornstein has come out and said that Arsenal are now stepping up their efforts to sign Mikel Merno from Realsociedad. Talks ongoing, plus Edu has been in Spain this week to pursue the agreement. Personal terms for the 28-year-old not expected to be a problem at all. Likely, the deal needs an exit from AFC, whether before the signing of Mikel Merno or even after the signing of Mikel Merno. So that's according to David Ornstein. Deal very close. Edu has been in Spain. Efforts have been intensified, but we have to get one player out in order for Mikel Merno to actually come in. And that player is not Emile Smith-Rowe. Otherwise, if it was Emile Smith-Rowe, then there wouldn't be any point for David Ornstein to say that we have to get one player out in order for Merno to come in. So what I want to say is that I think Mikel Merno and Realsociedad have both come to an agreement that the player is going to move to Arsenal. Arsenal are very confident on that. Merno is very confident on that. And I think he has accepted the fact that he's not going to start the new season with this Arsenal team. There was a possibility, if he had signed 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, that he would even be in the starting squad, but that is over. I don't think Arsenal can sign him on Wednesday or Thursday, register him on Friday, and play him on Saturday. That would be like, super quick, and we know Arsenal don't do super quick deals ever since the Fabio Vieira deal. But what I want to say is that this policy of one in, one out is one I don't understand. Is it money motivated or is it squad motivated? So if it's money motivated, I wouldn't really understand that, right? But if it's squad motivated, squad management motivated, then I understand that. And I'm going to talk about it because I thought while I was preparing the video, I was like, let's talk about Mikel Arteta's squad. Does he want a small squad or does he want a big squad in the end? Now, in terms of money motivated, I don't think Arsenal are anywhere close to breaching FFP, and that has been reiterated today by Brian Taylor and also David Ornstein. Arsenal are not in any fear of breaching FFP and PSR rules. We are very okay. Manchester City's problems will not affect us at any point in time. However, David Ornstein and Brian Taylor report that Arsenal want to be clear and Arsenal want to be clever. So I think there is a worry within Arsenal that the last 3 years of enormous spending could actually create a problem. So what Arsenal are trying to do is, can we go a whole summer where we have not spent a lot of money, and the money we have spent has come from our own squad, because that is what PSR wants. It wants self-sustainability. It wants clubs to be self-sustainable. And I would say that's a good strategy. I don't have a problem with that. But if it's and as long as it's not going to get in the way of us competing for major silverware, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Arsenal selling Edin Ketia and Ramsdale for 80 million euros and then bringing in Gyökeres for 80 million euros. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Arsenal selling Emile Smith-Rowe and bringing in Mikel Merno or Fabian Ruiz. That is an upgrade. I don't have a problem with that. My only problem would be if Arsenal dare try to be economical the way we were under Arsene Wenger, try to sell and not buy unless we sell. That is where my problem would be. And again, at the moment, why it's a very dangerous strategy for us is, you think about this Arsenal side. Are we really going to say, listen, are we going to say that Arsenal have enough time to ship off the deadwood players that don't even have concrete offers on the table in order for us to sign our targets? No. If it has taken us around 7 weeks to get these players out and they're still here, are we really trusting that we are going to get them out in 1 or 2 weeks and then sign up players during the same time? It might be very difficult. I have a professor, not really a professor, but one of my favorite tutors. He told me that if you can't do it in 3 days, if you can't do it in 1 week, you cannot do it in 3 months. You cannot do it, in 10 months. And that's a very, very good, I would say that's a very good statement to give to Arsenal right now. If you fail to move these players on, May, June, July, 3 good months, and then half of August as well, how sure are we that this is the right time for us to go and get these players out? Like, how sure are we that we're going to be successful in getting them out so that we sign other players? Now, if it is for squad management, again, I have a problem. I'm so sorry, I have problems these days. But again, I have a problem with squad management. Mikel Arteta last season was using a smaller squad, around 16 to 17 players that he was trusting. I think Mikel's strategy is he doesn't want many players. So he doesn't want Nketiah and Gyökeres and Havertz and Jesus, which is right for me. But it wouldn't hurt, in my opinion, for us to have Merno, Rice, and Noneri and Odegaard. I don't think it would hurt, but Mikel doesn't want that. What Mikel wants is, right now, we have around 25 players, and he's only using 17 or 18. So he's just trying to replace players in that 25-man squad. So it means that he's not adding on top of the 25, he's just maintaining. I love the sound of that, but one of the things we have already said, Man City have a deep squad. And we've already said that, and we've already admired that about them. And he worked with Man City, and Manchester City have always had a deeper squad. The problem with a small squad is this. It is manageable, and you can win the title with it, no problems. I'm not saying, Arsenal are going to fail to win the title because we are trying to keep a smaller squad. No. But the problem with the smaller squad, the way Liverpool had it, is you've got to rinse it almost every 2 years or 1.5 years. You've got to reservice it all the time. It doesn't give you ample time and ample opportunities to rotate your players, and that's my problem. So are we sure, as games get increasing, as games become more, are we sure that keeping a smaller squad is the best option? That would be a question for Mikel Arteta. But at the moment, Arsenal don't want to add numbers. And by the way, if you look at it, we've not added any player to last year's squad. Remember, Emile Smith-Rowe was here. He's gone. Calafiori is coming. So those two have cancelled themselves out. Raya has come in. Carl Hayne has gone. So again, those two have cancelled themselves out. So Arsenal have literally not added any player. We have signed some, but we have not added any player to the current squad in terms of number. It's just about replacing. So Mikel doesn't want to have many players. I thought it was about competition. I thought we wanted players that could compete with each other, but maybe that's why he says he wants versatile players. He wants players like Havertz, Jesus. You can play in multiple positions because he doesn't want to have 20 options to choose from every single match day. Now, the update I've liked, which is also a little bit threatening to me, is that Ryan Taylor says Arsenal's Edu is understood to be prioritizing the signing of a central midfielder, which is Mikel Merino, as a lead target. Arsenal are also open to attacking reinforcements, either a wide forward or a striker, though any move is likely to depend on outgoings as well. Okay, now this is where the real problem is. You see, when it comes to Merino, we know that Edin Nketiah is going to go. And by the way, the problem with Arsenal right now is we have one player that is like concrete to go, and we want to bring in 3 other players. So, okay, let's leave out Ramsdale, because with Ramsdale, Johan Garcia only signs if we sell Ramsdale. So Johan Garcia is out of the picture. But the one player that Arsenal hope to sell right now, the player that we have offers for the players that the player we think is closer to an exit is Edin Ketia. And we want to bring in an attacker, and we want to bring in a midfielder. And both of those two depend on exits. So what do we do? We are selling one. We want to bring 2. But the manager is saying, for us to bring 2, we must sell 2. I don't think Reece Nelson is getting any offers. It proves my point that he's not a 20 million euro player. He's like 14 million, 10 million, right? So I don't know. If the priority is midfield, that means Merino is coming in the squad place of Edin Ketia, right? Unless we sell Jakub Kiwior, because this is what it's supposed to be. It was supposed to be. Kiwior leaves, Calafiori replaces him, Emil Smith-Rowe leaves, Merino replaces him, and then Arsenal sell Nketiah, and a player like Gyökeres comes in, and then we sell Reece Nelson, and a player like Adingra or Coman comes in, a winger comes in. Now we have found ourselves at a difficult point. The bridge has broken. We cannot go back. We have already wasted the time, and we can't go front. At the front. It speaks to what I've always been saying. If you knew you were going to depend on sales, June and July, sell. That is, if we knew that we were going to depend on sales, if we knew that sales were going to be as paramount as we are saying, sell in June, sell in July. So that by the time you come to August, we will understand Arsenal have been doing the selling. Now they're trying to buy. But even in August, we're trying to sell. The players we're trying to sell don't even have optimism that they're going to be sold. And we're also trying to buy at the same time. Good luck with this one, Edu. Good luck with this one. I want to see how you deal with this one. But if I was to choose personally, because the article from Ryan Taylor says it very clearly, Arsenal are looking to sign a wide forward or an attacker after Merino. If I was to choose between a midfielder and a striker, it would be open for me. It would be very, very open. And I think it's a striker that we go for. Because even if Merino came in, he might not play as much. Of course, he might play, but he can come in, get an injury, and we won't miss him. I can tell you, Arsenal will win the title with or without Merino. But Arsenal's chances of winning the title might be affected by the fact that we didn't sign a striker. And why? Because you literally cannot anticipate that all these players whose primary role is not to score goals are going to do whatever you ask them to do and then also score goals. No, you cannot anticipate that. So if we have one outgoing and we have to do one incoming, let it be a striker. And at this point in time, I'm starting to get to the point where I don't even care who comes in. If you want to give me Jamie Vardy, bring in Jamie Vardy. Because what's the point? What's the point? We might say Osimhen and Gyökeres, and we don't go for any of them. Or we go for any of them, we go for both of them, and we don't get any of them. So can we just wake up? Like, seriously? Honestly? I've seen that Arsenal looking at Guimaraes as a potential option on the market still. I don't know why this story is not going away, but what I can say with Guimaraes is the player himself has come out and said, I think I know where I want to be. I think I'm going to stay at Newcastle, and that is not going to change. So regardless of what happens, and I want to say this, regardless of what happens, I think I think he's a good player, right? But it's a good deal. It's a difficult deal. Not a good. It's a good deal, but difficult. Difficult to do. I could see Man City do it, like I said before. I could see Man City do it, but Arsenal, Gyökeres, no. I think it's past us. I would love to see if we get any kind of interest in him later on in the window and try to sign him again. But for me, that might be quite impossible.